Hey there, it's Kimberly Lucht, and today I want to share 5 lessons from my first 5 years in business. And so I started my business in 2018, so July 11th is my business anniversary, 7-Eleven, y'all. Like that Beyonce song, I'm like, yep, 7-Eleven, And it's so exciting to hit that milestone and realize, whoa, there's a lot of growth that comes with any year, really, but any year you're in business, it's like this catalyzed growth. It's this growth portal, because I like to think of being in business as the greatest spiritual journey that you can embark on. And that's my experience, at least so far. And it's been so just beautiful to see the different chapters of business and how everything has evolved and how everything continues to evolve. And so the first lesson that I want to share with you is to show up as your full self. And I remember when I started my business, when I got my LLC papers, I actually didn't have my name on it as the business name. It was another name. It was something that I was, in my opinion, hiding behind. And it's something that I think if I were to do things over, I would probably go back and be like, nope, Kimberly Lucht LLC, y'all. And have everything just be Kimberly Lucht, Kimberly Lucht, Kimberly Lucht, and be pretty much pasting my name and my face everywhere. That, I think, is something that I would do differently, and it's a lesson that I learned essentially because I'm like, I want to be as clear as possible, and if people are working with me and only me, I don't have this like necessarily a big team behind a big company name. It's me, it's Kimberly Lucht. And so showing up as that full self really helped me catapult into the next level of my business, along with showing up as my full self in the sense of personality and interests and passions. And so coming out of the spiritual closet in the business realm and being very open in public about energy healing, that was a big thing for me. And also dancing and feeling free and moving a lot in all of my stuff, whether that's on YouTube or Instagram. I just feel like dance is always going to be a big part of my life, and it's something that I want to show up with because it's a part of me. I don't like to cut off parts of myself, and you probably don't either. And so showing up as your full self is something that'll really help you moving forward in your business. The second lesson is to trust the process. And so we don't really know necessarily what the timing of things is going to be like in business. Sometimes we think that a client is going to sign on and then it ends up being years later that they come back around. Or sometimes we think that a webinar is going to produce the results that we want right away. And sometimes it really just takes a little time, and trusting that process and not making it mean necessarily anything about what you're doing, what you're not doing. It's more about, okay, yeah, some things will take time and I can do everything I can and everything that's in my power to do. But at the end of the day, we have to turn over that which we can't control and give it over to a higher power, whatever that might be for you. And so trusting the process is both trusting your own process, but also trusting the divine process at play. You don't necessarily know what's for the highest good of all. And, nobody is really supposed to know. All we're supposed to know is what we're being pulled and guided towards. And so if you feel pulled and guided towards a specific person or a place or opportunity, trusting that and knowing that it's guiding you to that specific space for a reason. And sometimes you don't know that reason until decades later, and that's okay. We can trust the process along the way. The third lesson is linked to that second lesson in the sense that it's go where you're guided. And so just like I mentioned, if you feel this pull, if you feel a tug at your heart towards, I don't know, maybe creating a sales page that seems a little wacky or seems a little illogical or maybe too spiritual. I remember one of my favorite sales pages, I have this crown on. I'm like, oh yeah, this is amazing. But then if I had started out with that, I don't know, it would have felt a little nerve-wracking for me, because coming out of the spiritual closet in the professional sense is something that took a little bit of time. But now I'm like, woohoo, get that priestess crown on, yo. Like, that was so much fun to create, and being guided to create that sales page is what led to a bunch of new clients signing on, because they saw, whoa, this is like, yes, this is the energy I want to work with. This is the type of vibe that I want. You have to really understand the tugs of your heart and understand how that links into the way that you brand yourself, the marketing that you do, the clients that you sign on, the way that you show up in the business space. It's something that I think is helpful, and it also ties back into this number one lesson of showing up as your full self. And so going where you're guided is about understanding that whatever's channeling through is not to be questioned, it is to be refined and honed in on. But whatever comes out of your mouth or whatever comes out of your mind in the form of typing or whatever type of channeling you're doing, it's something that at least can be processed and like, let's see where this could take me. And following the lead of your channeled ideas, your channeled wisdom can really, really help you grow your business. Lesson number 4 is something that I get thanked for a lot. I recently had a past client text me and she was like, oh my God, I just signed on this client for the most money ever. If it weren't for you and the way that you taught me and guided me, I don't know if I would have been able to sign her on. And that's just such a beautiful example of the joy that can come from making a lot of money doing what you love. And so lesson number 4 is to price as if you're the best at what you do, because guess what? You're the only you that exists. And so you're the only one that can actually do the things that you do in the way that you do them. So in a sense, you actually are the best at what you do in the sense of the way that you do it, right? Because you're the only one. You've got a monopoly on yourself, honey, and people will want to work with you specifically just because of the way that you do things, or the energy that you bring to the table, or the strategies that you put into place, or whatever it is that you feel like is your unique selling point. Price as if that's the best that there is. And in some cases, for some people, it will be. But I do think that out of all of the things that people thank me for, that's the one that they thank me for often the most, because when it comes to making money, doing what we love, making more money than ever in a most joyful way that we can, it just feels so good. And so that's something that if I were to go back in time and tell my 25-year-old self, hey, like this is something to maybe think about, there would have been maybe some pushback or resistance like I see with a lot of my clients, but I also would have maybe been more open to, oh my God, that's a possibility. You just gave me permission to do that. I'm gonna go do that and make loads of more money right out of the gate. Yeah? So I hope that that helps in terms of just, looking at your pricing in a way that feels more expansive and letting yourself have that permission now to either raise your prices or raise the way that you do your work. I think up-leveling is just a really, really cool way to evolve in business. So lesson number 5 is to celebrate every win, big or small. And that could be anything from you showered today, yay, to, hey, you signed on a really big client, or you got into the media, or whatever, right? I remember celebrating so hard after the first group workshop that I did. That was actually back in 2017, and it was my way of easing into the space. I just remember being so grateful for the group in front of me. I didn't even have my LLC yet. I didn't have any formal papers saying that I was in business, but I felt like, okay, like I already made my first rounds of money with the ticket sales. I have people interested in coaching. I have people coming to see me and to invest their time and energy into bettering their lives. And at that point, I was like, not quite sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something in the coaching world. And so that was my first little step in. And I celebrated that so much because it's so difficult, I think, for some people to take the first step. And I really honored that first step for me, the first step of just putting together a group of people and finding a way to spend pretty much half a day in that space with them and get in the sense of like, okay, we're all improving our lives together. So it felt really special, and I've celebrated in the same way when, I made the most money in a day, or I made the most like media features in a month, or whatever, right? There's all these beautiful ways to celebrate the wins that come your way, and the most important thing is to do something that feels exciting for you. And so that could be a massage, that could be a great meal out. It just feels good to celebrate and to share that with other people, whatever way that feels right for you. Also, side note, this is my celebration dress. I wore it for a birthday once, and I'm like, yep, this is the one that's gonna be for the 5 years in business video too. So I really hope that this helps. And just to recap, lesson number 1 is to show up as your full self. Lesson number 2 is to trust the process. Lesson number 3 is to go where you're guided. Lesson number 4 is to price as if you're the best at what you do. And lesson number 5 is to celebrate every win, big or small. And so comment below what your favorite lesson is. I'd really love to hear what it is for you. I think mine is number 5, celebrate. And I would also love for you to check out something that is really special to me. It's called the Soulful Business Roadmap. It's a free guide to help you get kick-started on your spiritual path in business, whether that means you're starting out as a spiritual entrepreneur, or maybe you want to add a little more soul into your life or strategy into your life in business. And so, go check it out. It's a free guide. The link is down below, and I hope to see you on the inside. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao for now.